Dear students, please open your textbook before you start listening. Underline important lines and mark difficult words. Use earphone or headphone for full concentration. Happy listening and happy learning.
Page number 19. Topic 4. The making of Germany and Italy. 4.1. Germany. Can the army be the architect of a nation? After 1848, nationalism in Europe moved away from its association with democracy and revolution. Nationalist sentiments were often mobilized by conservatives for promoting state power and achieving political dominations over Europe. This can be observed in the process by which Germany and Italy came to be unified as nation states. As you have seen, nationalist feelings were widespread among middle class Germans, who in 1848 tried to unite the different regions of the German Confederation into a nation state governed by an elected parliament. This liberal initiative to nation building was, however, repressed by the combined forces of the monarchy and the military, supported by the large landowners called Junkers of Prussia. From then on, Prussia took on the leadership of the movement for national unification. Its chief minister, Otto von Bismarck, was the architect of this process carried out with the help of the Prussian army and bureaucracy. 3 wars over 7 years with Austria, Denmark, and France ended in Prussian victory and completed the process of unification. In January 1871, the Prussian king William I was proclaimed German emperor in a ceremony held at Versailles. On the bitterly cold morning of 18 January 1871, an assembly comprising the princes of the German states, representative of the army, important Prussian ministers including the chief minister Otto von Bismarck, gathered in the unheated hall of mirror in the palace of Versailles to proclaim the new German Empire headed by Kaiser William I of Prussia. The nation building process in Germany had demonstrated the dominance of Prussian state power. The new state placed a strong emphasis on modernizing the currency, banking, legal, and judicial systems in Germany. Prussian measures and practices often became a model for the rest of Germany. In the figure 11, the proclamation of the German Empire in the Hall of Mirror at Versailles. Anton von Werner. At the center stands the Kaiser and the chief commander of the Prussian army, General von Ruhr. Near them is Bismarck. This monumental work, 2.7 m into 2.7 m, was completed and presented by the artist to Bismarck on the latter's 17th birthday in 1885. Page number 20. Figure 12. Unification of Germany 1866 to 1871. 4.2. Italy unified. Like Germany, Italy too had a long history of political fragmentation. Italians were scattered over several dynastic states as well as the multinational Habsburg Empire. During the middle of the 19th century, Italy was divided into 7 states, of which only one, Sardinia, Piedmont, was ruled by an Italian princely house. The north was under Austrian Habsburgs, the center was ruled by the Pope, and the southern region were under the domination of the Bourbon kings of Spain. Even the Italian language had not acquired one common form and still had many regional and local variations. During the 1830s, Giuseppe Mazzini had sought to put together a coherent program for a unitary Italian republic. He had also formed a secret society called Young Italy for the dissemination of his goal. The failure of revolutionary uprisings
both in 1831 and 1848 meant that the mantle now fell on Sardinia, Piedmont under its ruler King Victor Emmanuel II to unify the Italian states through war. In the eyes of the ruling elites of this region, a unified Italy offered them the possibility of economic development and political dominance. In Figure 13, caricature of Otto von Bismarck in the German Reichstag Parliament from Figaro, Vienna, 5 March 1870. Now in the column Activity, describe the caricature. How does it represent the relationship between Bismarck and the elected deputies of Parliament? What interpretation of democratic processes is the artist trying to convey? Page number 21. Chief Minister Cavour, who led the movement to unify the regions of Italy, was neither a revolutionary nor a democrat. Like many other wealthy and educated members of the Italian elite, he spoke French much better than he did Italian. Through a tactful diplomatic alliance with France, engineered by Cavour, Sardinia, Piedmont succeeded in defeating the Austrian forces in 1859. Apart from regular troops, a large number of armed volunteers under the leadership of Giuseppe Garibaldi joined the fray. In 1860, they marched into South Italy and the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies and succeeded in winning the support of the local peasants in order to drive out the Spanish rulers. In 1861, Victor Emmanuel II was proclaimed King of United Italy. However, much of the Italian population, among whom rates of illiteracy were very big, remained blissfully unaware of liberalization nationalist ideology. The peasant masses who had supported Garibaldi in southern Italy had never heard of Italia and believed that La Talia was Victor Emmanuel's wife. Figure 14a. Italian states before unification in 1858. Please see on the screen or see in the textbook page number 21. Now in the activity column, look at figure 14a. Do you think that the people living in any of these regions thought of themselves as Italians? Examine figure 14b. Which was the first region to become a part of unified Italy? Which was the last region to join? In which year did the largest number of states join? In figure 14b, Italy after unification through a map is shown. Regions seen in figure 14a become part of a unified Italy. Now 4.3. The strange case of Britain. The model of the nation or the nation state, some scholars have argued, is Great Britain. In Britain, the formation of the nation state was not the result of a sudden upheaval or revolution. Page number 22. It was the result of a long drawn out process. There was no British nation prior to the 18th century. The primary identities of the people who inhabited the British Isles were ethnic ones, such as English, Welsh, Scot, or Irish. All of these ethnic groups had their own cultural and political tradition. But as the English nation steadily grew in wealth, importance, and power, it was able to extend its influence over the other nations of the island. The English Parliament, which has seized power from the monarchy in 1688 at the end of a protracted conflict, was the instrument through which a nation-state with England at its center came to be forged. The Act of Union 1707 between England and Scotland that resulted in the formation of the United Kingdom of Great Britain meant in effect that England was able to impose its influence on Scotland. The British Parliament was henceforth dominated by its English members. The growth of a British identity meant that Scotland's distinctive culture and political institutions were systematically suppressed. The Catholic clans that inhabited the Scottish Highlands suffered terrible repression whenever they attempted to assert their independence. The Scottish Highlanders were forbidden to speak their Gaelic language or wear their national dress, and large numbers were forcibly driven out of their homeland. Ireland suffered a similar fate. It was a country deeply divided between Catholics and Protestants. The English helped the Protestant of Ireland to establish their dominance over a largely Catholic country. Catholic revolts against British dominance were suppressed. After a failed revolt led by Wolfton and his United Irishmen, 1798, Ireland was forcibly incorporated into the United Kingdom in 1801. A new British nation was forged through the propagation of a dominant English culture. A symbol of the new Britain, the British flag, Union Jack, the national anthem, God Save Our Noble King, the English language were actively promoted, and the older nations survived only as subordinate partners in this union. Now, in the column Activity, the artist has portrayed Garibaldi as holding on the base of the boot so that the king of Sardinia, Piedmont, can enter it from the top. Look at the map of Italy once more. What statement is this caricature making? Box 2. Giuseppe Garibaldi, 1807 to 1882, is perhaps the most celebrated of Italian freedom fighters. He came from a family engaged in coastal trade and was a sailor in the merchant navy. In 1833, he met Mazzini, joined the Young Italy movement, and participated in a Republican uprising in Piedmont in 1834. The uprising was suppressed and Garibaldi had to flee to South America, where he lived in exile till 1848. In 1854, he supported Victor Emmanuel II in his effort to unify the Italian states. In 1860, Garibaldi led the famous expedition of the Thousand to South Italy. Fresh volunteers kept joining through the course of the campaign till their numbers grew to about 30,000. They were popularly known as Red Shirts. In 1867, Garibaldi led an army of volunteers to Rome to fight the last obstacle to the unification of Italy, the Papal State where a French garrison was stationed. The Red Shirt proved to be no match for the combined French and Papal troops. It was only in 1870 when, during the war with Prussia, France withdrew its troops from Rome, that the Papal States were finally joined to Italy. In the figure 15, Garibaldi helping King Victor Emmanuel II of Sardinia, Piedmont, to pull on the boot named Italy. English caricature of 1859. In the column New Words, ethnic means relates to a common racial, tribal, or cultural origin or a background that a community identifies with or claims. Page number 23. Topic 5. Visualizing the nation. While it is easy enough to represent the ruler through a portrait or a statue, how does one go about giving a face to a nation? Artists in the 18th and 19th century found a way out by personifying a nation. In other words, they represented a country as if it were a person. Nations were then portrayed as female figures. The female form that was chosen to personify the nation did not stand for any particular woman in real life. Rather, it sought to give the abstract idea of the nation a concrete form. That is, the female figure became an allegory of the nation. You will recall that during the French Revolution, artists used the female allegory to portray ideas such as liberty, justice, and the republic. These ideals were represented through a specific object or symbol. As you would remember, the attributes of liberty are the red cap or the broken chain, while justice is generally a blindfolded woman carrying a pair of weighing scales. Similar female allegories were invented by artists in the 19th century to represent the nation. In France, she was christened Marianne, a popular Christian name, which underlined the idea of people's nation. Her characteristics were drawn from those of liberty and the republic. The red cap, the tricolor, the cockade, statues of Marianne were erected in public square to remind the public of the national symbol of unity and to persuade them to identify with it. Mariana images were marked on coins and stamps. Similarly, Germania became the allegory of the German nations. In visual representations, Germania wears a crown of oak leaves, as the German oak stands for heroism. In the column New Words, allegory, when an abstract idea, in bracket, for instance, greedy, envoy, freedom, liberty, bracket close, is expressed through a person or a thing, an allegorical story has two meanings, one literal and one symbolic. Figure 16. Postage stamp of 1850 with the figure of Mariana representing the Republic of France. In the figure 17, Germania, Philip Witt, 1848. The artist prepared this painting of Germania on a cotton banner, as it was meant to hang from the ceiling of the church of St. Paul, where the Frankfurt Parliament was convened in March 1848. Page number 24. Box 3. Meanings of the symbols. It's given in two columns. In first column attribute, in second column significance. Please see on the screen or in textbook. First one, broken chain. In significance, being freed. In second line, breastplate with eagle. In significance, symbol of the German Empire minus strength. Third line, crown or oak leaves. Significance, heroism. Fourth line, sword. Significance, readiness to fight. Fifth line, olive branch around the sword. Significance, willingness to make peace. Black, red and gold tricolor. Flag of the liberal nationalists in 1848 banned by the dukes of the German states. Last line, rays of the rising sun. In significance, beginning of a new era. In the column activity, with the help of the chart in box 3, identify the attribute of wheat Germania and interpret the symbolic meaning of the painting. In an earlier allegorical rendering of 1836, Wheat had portrayed the Kaiser's crown at the place where he has now located the broken chain. Explain the significance of this chain. In the figure 18, the fallen Germania, Julius Hubner, 1850. In the column activity, describe what you see in figure 17. What historical event could Hubner be referring to in this allegorical vision of the nation? Page number 25. Figure 19. Germania guarding the Rhine. In 1860, the artist Lawrence Clasen was commissioned to paint this image. The inscription of Germania's sword read, "The German sword protects the German Rhine." In the column activity, look once more at figure 10. Imagine you were a citizen of Frankfurt in March 1848 and were present during the proceedings of the parliament. How would you, A, as a man seated in the Hall of Deputies, and B, as a woman observing from the galleries, relate to the banner of Germania hanging from the ceiling? Page number 26. Topic 6. Nationalism and Imperialism. By the last quarter of the 19th century, nationalism no longer retained its idealistic liberal democratic sentiment of the first half of the century, but became a narrow creed with limited ends. During this period, nationalist groups became increasingly intolerant of each other and ever ready to go to war. The major European powers in turn manipulated the nationalist aspiration of the subject peoples in Europe to further their own imperialist aims. The most serious source of nationalist tension in Europe after 1871 was the area called the Balkans. The Balkans was a region of geographical and ethnic variation comprising modern day Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, Macedonia, Croatia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Slovenia, Serbia, and Montenegro, whose inhabitants were broadly known as the slaves. A large part of the Balkans was under the control of the Ottoman Empire. The spread of the ideas of romantic nationalisms in the Balkans together with the disintegration of the Ottoman Empire made this region very explosive. All through the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire had sought to strengthen itself through modernization and internal reform, but with very little success. One by one, its European subject nationalities broke away from its control and declared independence. The Balkan people based their claims for independence or political right on nationality and used history to prove that they had once been independent but had subsequently been subjugated by foreign power. Hence, the rebellious nationalities in the Balkans thought of their struggle as attempts to win back their long lost independence. As the different Slavic nationalities struggled to define their identity and independence, the Balkan area became an area of intense conflict. The Balkan states were fiercely jealous of each other and each hoped to gain more territory at the expense of the others. Matters were further complicated because the Balkans also became the scene of big power rivalry. During this period, there was intense rivalry among the European power over trade and colonies as well as naval and military might. These rivalries were very evident in the way the Balkan problem unfolded. Each power, Russia, Germany, England, Austro-Hungary, was keen on countering the hold of the other powers over the Balkans and extending its own control over the area. This led to a series of wars in the region and finally the First World War. Page number 27. Figure 20. A man celebrating the British Empire. At the top, angels are shown carrying the banner of freedom. In the foreground, Britannia, the symbol of the British nation, is triumphantly sitting over the globe. The colonies are represented through images of tigers, elephants, forests, and primitive people. The dominations of the world is shown as the basis of Britain's national pride. Nationalism, aligned with imperialism, led Europe to disaster in 1914. But meanwhile, many countries in the world which had been colonized by the European power in the 19th century began to oppose imperial domination. The anti-imperial movement that developed everywhere were nationalist, in the sense that they all struggled to form independent nation states and were inspired by a sense of collective national unity, forged in confrontation with imperialism. European ideas of nationalism were nowhere replicated, for people everywhere developed their own specific variety of nationalism. But the idea that societies should be organized into nation states came to be accepted as natural and universal. Page number 28. Write in brief. Question 1. Write a note on A. Giuseppe Mazzini. B. Count Camillo di Cavour. C. The Greek War of Independence. D. Frankfurt Parliament. E. The role of women in nationalist struggles. Question 2. What steps did the French revolutionaries take to create a sense of collective identity among the French people? Question 3. Who were Mariana and Germania? What was the importance of the way in which they were portrayed? Question 4. Briefly trace the process of German unification. Question 5. What changes did Napoleon introduce to make the administrative system more efficient in the territories ruled by him? In the column discuss. 1. Explain what is meant by the 1848 revolution of the liberals. What were the political, social and economic ideas supported by the liberals? 2. Choose 3 examples to show the contribution of culture to the growth of nationalism in Europe. 3. Through a focus on any 2 countries, explain how nations developed over the 19th century. 4. How was the history of nationalism in Britain unlike the rest of Europe? 5. Why did nationalist tensions emerge in the Balkans? In the column project, find out more about nationalist symbol in countries outside Europe. For 1 or 2 countries, collect examples of pictures, posters or music that are symbol of nationalism. How are these different from European examples? Thank you, students. Please listen twice for better understanding. Hope you like the video and subscribe for upcoming videos.